privatization, it's a God's blessing. Because it's all about investment, it's all about wealth creation. Who goes out and says that privatization is a God's blessing? Very few. But this is the fact. Growth in this country depends on privatization. So we are the last hope and the last resort of Greece. It's the free market competition. Someone wins, someone loses. Now if you start crying your head off because some people are taking advantage of your misery, I mean it's your own responsibility to turn things around. It's a matter of thinking. So, of course it's true. If Greeks were averagely clever, they're just preaching. They're just saying no, no, no. Fuck you. Tell me how yes. Sorry, this is the thing. Don't tell me now why not. I know the why nots. It's conventional wisdom. Tell me how yes. How can we make things happen?
Hey comrades, keep the fight all around the world, PSI. My water is missing, so. You see, you don't use it anymore. We use the citizens, the social media. Water privatization is an issue of society, not only an issue of unionists. We're really involved in this struggle, not only because we're running for our jobs, we're part of the society, we drink water, we use water every day. Civil society asked for us, for our help, because they know that we have the knowledge from inside of the company, what's going on with agreements, with the obligations, all of this, with the visits of the multinationals. People need water, human body is 70% of water, water is everywhere. Water is life, and I think privatizing water is privatizing our lives.
Recently, the Thessaloniki Water Workers Union joined with civil society groups to create Sostu to Nero, a coalition dedicated to the fight against water privatization.
Personally, I thought this cannot happen in my city. They cannot go on with the privatization of the water. So we started working together, and then we thought, what can we do?
So what everyone was thinking in Thessaloniki was that in order to struggle against privatization, we have to find something new, not just close the water company and make a protest or something that common. So the idea to invent Sosto Nero as a place that everyone can come and say their voice and their opinion was something bigger than just the trade union struggling.
And then we had this idea of a referendum. And we made it happen. And we're very proud about it.
What is it? No. Ah, yes. Here they are. So this is Ochi, no to privatization of water. Yes, we did a referendum, which was an unofficial referendum, but we convinced the municipalities to support us. And the same day with the local elections of for the municipality and the prefecture. We did a referendum against the water privatization. Yes, I must mention that speaking with our allies from Europe, they said that the Italians and the other referendums, the answer must be positive, yes. So the question should be something that make people say yes to make a positive feeling for them. But you're in Greece. In Greece, everything is opposite. So in Greece, it's a tradition to όχι, to no, because when the Nazi occupation was, when the Nazis invasion started in 1940, the World War II, the Greek people and the Prime Minister at that season, when they asked to come and pass the country, the Italians, Mussolini, he said no, and this no stayed in history. So deep in the conscious is the right word, of Greek people, no is a very strong word. Yes, we're training him when private sector will come here, people from private sector, to start biting. He's an anti-privatization dog. In 2013, started the biting for the company. There was an obligation to the biters that if you want to take place of the biting, you must visit officially with your technicians and your officers the facilities of the company. So Suez was here. You know, the union and the workers are very, very nervous. They want to react. You want to show their reaction. We don't want you here. You know, Suez go home. You know all this. And you know what's EIAT? It's the letters over there. It's εταιρεία ίδρυση της εποχής της Thessaloniki. It's Thessaloniki Water and Sewage company. We put a big banner over it, writing in France, allez. So go. And my colleagues told me that Suez was smiling and taking pictures of this banner. And we put banners everywhere in our facilities.
You think they got the message?
Yes, they had the message from the very, very beginning. They know it.
So what we're seeing in Greece is the influence of the Troika, which is composed of the European Central Bank, the European Commission, and the IMF. And for me, it's actually the equivalent of blackmail. What they're saying is, if you want to get access to loans to stabilize your economy, you've got to match a whole range of criteria, and one of them is you've got to sell off your public assets. So they're forcing private sector onto national and local governments.
We don't live in a democratic country or a free country. We're not living in a free country.
Since its forced creation by the Troika, Taiped has been riddled by corruption scandals. In 2012, Anna Bubenakova, an EU appointee to Taiped, was forced to resign after she was accused of privatizing public assets in Slovakia in the direct interests of her husband's company. Greek board member Anna Zwaro chose to resign out of protest, saying she had been forced to agree to privatization proposals and did not want to become a puppet of certain interests. In August 2013, Taiped's new chairman, Stelios Stavridis, was fired after taking a ride in the private jet of a businessman who hours earlier had been awarded a lucrative Taiped privatization deal. Two of the current members of the board, including the CEO and executive director, previously worked for companies who have now been awarded Taiped contracts.
Well, about Taiped.
Taiped is it's I think, I don't know what happens in other countries, but we have this unique, how you can feel, they found out this way to privatize what is public, and they got the right to sell it because we are in a crisis, in a financial crisis. The problem is what gets in Taiped cannot get out.
Anyway, I call it in the National Real Estate Office. All the treasures and all the values of the Greek state were put there to be sold to multinationals, to friends of the government, to people who own the government in their pocket. And that's their role. It's remarkable that people who own big law offices in the private sector are advisors of the Taiped.
But of the most concern is Taiped's least known participant, the EU-appointed Philippe Boin. Boin previously worked as head of the economic service to the French embassy in Romania, helping to further privatize Romania's public water to the French multinational Veolia.
Je parle pour mon propre cas, qui est le cas de Veolia d'Apanova, où nous avons repris des services publics qui étaient gérés en régie et que nous avons mis au plus haut standard européen.
The former Director General of Veolia's Romanian subsidiary company, Bruno Roche, has now been officially charged with corruption after supposedly bribing local Romanian officials to vote for aggressive water rate increases. Roche was also head of the French-Romanian Chamber of Commerce and recently received an Order of Merit from the French-Romanian ambassador, who described him as faithful, honest, and wise. At the end of his time with the embassy in Romania, Philippe Boin described foreign investors and multinational corporations as conquerors in the good sense of the word.
The links between the corporations and the embassies and diplomacy is deep-rooted. It's a form of neocolonialism. In terms of development dynamics, a number of rich and powerful countries are focused on winning contracts for their national companies. And so we do see the French embassy working very closely with the main French water companies, Suez and Veolia.
Philippe Boin is not only one of the EU appointees to Taiped, he's now also head of the economic service to the French embassy in Athens. He has been involved in meetings between Suez and the French ambassador, as well as the recent visit of François Hollande to Greece, accompanied by Suez executives.
Dans les valises de François Hollande, 5 grands patrons français venus serrer la main d'Alexis Tsipras et chercher leur part du gâteau grec.
C'est un pays qui a très peu fait appel au privé et qui a besoin de se moderniser avec un transfert de savoir-faire des groupes étrangers. De toute évidence, c'est le bon moment pour venir en Grèce investir.
Clearly, the interests of the corporation are the interests of the embassy. And the commercial section of any embassy works very closely with the companies and with the ambassador.
Despite the considerable influence which countries like France already have in pushing Greece to privatize its public services, the conditions of the newest bailout look set to extend this even further. Under pressure from the Troika, the Greek government was recently required to pass an omnibus bill, a wide, sweeping piece of legislation which will create a newer, bigger Taiped, a super fund designed to speed up privatizations. The president of this new super fund will be another Frenchman, Jacques Taiped, a close friend of IMF head Christine Lagarde. Taiped previously worked in Lagarde's office during her time as French finance minister under the chief of cabinet Stéphane Richard, a former Veolia director. 2 of the seats on the board of the Superfund will be reserved for EU representatives who will wield veto power over any of its decisions. This new fund will have a lifespan of 99 years, effectively putting control of Greek public assets in the hands of the Troika and special interests for the next century. However, the Greek water movement is not throwing in the towel just yet.
They are saying to us that we are not going to sell the water, but they have meetings with the Suez president in Greece and with the ambassador of France in Greece, and they are talking about how they are going to sell the water of Greece. We know that they are lying to us, but we don't wait for them to decide. We will decide as we did at the referendum. And we are here to continue struggling about water as a public and common good, and we will not stop until we win.
I think that it is very important to fight not in a local, only in local area or in the country, but in the whole world. We have our rights to live in a proper way, and these are things that I could never think that somebody can think to sell water. That's why we're fighting.
Yes, water. What's water? Okay, I'm not a poet, but since I remember my life, I was in the water. I have especially this feeling that when you go to the sea, take a deep breath and go down to the bottom of the sea, you really feel that you're in your mother's belly when you're a baby. You're surrounded from water of these 9 months, and you really have this calm and this quiet down there. Yes, we, as human beings, as we came from the water, we stay parts of the water, and we still live in the water. It's life.